Surprise released in a way that we likely can expect for Valve's flagship VR title that is currently anticipated for 2019, Dota Underlords is Valve's answer to the incredible popularity of Dota Auto Chess. There is significant competition within the MABA market, the currently known competitors being the Epic Games Store with Droto Studios' actual legitimate auto chess, Riot's own Teamfight Tactics, and now Valve's released Dota Underlords. We've only really known about this for a few months at most, and this is one of the quickest turnaround times for a piece of software out in the public that we've ever seen from Valve. Artifact took years to get to where it was. It started development in early 2015 and we got it in November of 2018. Underlords at the earliest started in January of this year and it's out in beta in June. Next week we can anticipate a mobile version on both iOS and Android, as well as a new PC version that supports Mac, Linux, and Windows and will be cross-compatible between all, and all of your features will be shared across the platforms. However, that's not really what most deep Valve fans are interested in. Underlords, which is getting a mobile port, is running on Source 2, and that means there is something to be found within the deep files of the build. And myself and some friends have done quite a bit of data mining, and this is what we found. First of all, there is something to do with a pogo stick. There is some conversation going on that this is actually some leftovers of a very early Steam VR demo. However, it was a locomotion experimentation that had the player use a pogo stick in order to be able to move around. This is the first time that the public has seen any of these strings, however, so it's possible that maybe these were brought back somehow. Either way, it's ended up in Underlord's engine. Another string HLVR combine barrier cell spacing was found, specifically speaking of the transparent electric barriers that the Combine had within Half-Life 2, and something to do with the spacing within cells. Maybe Nova Prospect, maybe that's a level design term, no one knows. Another string, quote, the presence of info blob split path next to info HLVR toner map known in resource compiler is notable. Exactly what this means is unknown. It's just a reference to HLVR currently found in Underlords. There are many strings talking about a newly found, incredibly complex lighting system, talking about elevation, magnitude of events, fluctuation, intensities, numbers of fluctuations, scale, specular intensity, duration of fluctuations, duration of periods, and specular power. This gives the level designers of whomever is working in Source 2 incredible finite detail on exactly what they want to see with lighting effects. This isn't dynamic shadows and lighting, this is lighting effects. The Underlords build itself is built off of Source 2, and through some trickery, it's possible to see all other projects on Source 2 at the time of this project's build. So, all the projects of Source 2 that currently exist at the time of Underlord's current build date are as follows: CSGO, DAC, otherwise known as Dota Auto Chess or Underlords, DCG or Dota Card Game, otherwise known as Artifact, Dota, HLVR, Steam Tours or Steam VR Home, Generic, Generic Internal, Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, RPG, and Citadel. Now, we have not discussed Citadel on this channel before, however, I have some ideas, and that is a separate video. It started development no earlier than very late 2018. However, it never became publicly known about in any form until a couple of months ago, so this is a very new project. RPG is something we have discussed in the past, and we've actually known about for like 4 years. If you remember back in October of 2015, during the HL3.txt leak found within Dota 2, there was another text file found, RPG.txt. This is that. And this was a VR game that doesn't seem to be in development anymore, unless it's one of the 3 VR games that Gabe Newell was discussing and it's just put on the back burner for now. As far as I know, it's not in development anymore. However, exactly what Valve would create in terms of a VR RPG is incredibly interesting to think about, isn't it? Now, moving over towards things that are actually related to Underlords, number one, there are quite a few levels that the game can take place in that are just non-accessible, but nearly finished. One just called DAC, and this seems to be the default play area. Another called DAC Forest. As you can see, it takes place in a very Dota 2 looking forest. Another one called DAC Test, and this one likely is never going to be released fully, however it seems very similar to DAC Forest. And lastly, DAC Alleyway, the least finished out of all of them, however it is the one that was seen within the leaked footage of Dota Underworlds that came out last week. The lighting effects really sell that it's a much larger place, however taking a look at the entire map in itself shows that this is a lot of camera trickery going on. However, since the player only needs to see the chessboard, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done to begin with. This alleyway is also what is seen within all of the promotional materials and on the front page of the game itself. This alleyway seems to be incredibly important in the lore of Dota Auto Chess or Underlords or whatever we're calling it. If there is lore, there's no real understanding on exactly how many people are working on Underlords, how many people moved from Artifact, how many people are currently working on Artifact, if that is still happening, and if this game is going to have deep lore at all. No one knows. Only time will tell. We're still in very early beta. Also found within the files are new music. This game is in very early development. It's only been developed for a couple of months. However, the game, or the beta, released with brand new music. This music is interesting because it's heavily layered. Each track has 6 layers, and the different layers can start and stop depending on the events within the game itself. So the same song can become more and more intense as the game gets further and further in, which works really well because a game of auto chess builds on itself. You start with one level 1 character and you end with a full team of 10 level 2 to level 3 characters going at it, and it's insane. Auto chess is really fun, by the way, if you don't actually play it. I recommend giving it a chance when it goes into open beta because this game is going to be free to play. And it appears to be Valve kind of taking a look at all of the mistakes that were made within Artifact, and instead of just slouching back and saying, well, looks like we can't make games anymore, instead say, well, looks like we can't make games in that way anymore. Let's do the opposite and see if we find success. In a folder labeled Social, there are 8 separate sound files of 2 people saying yo.
Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, 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 yo.
No idea what these are for. I can't seem to find an actual use in-game for these sound files, and they also seem to be incredibly temporary, as they don't seem professionally recorded. They just seem to be some of the developers saying yo a couple of times, and then not using those sound files at all. And then you have Urban Ambience LP01 and 03. There are only 3 ambient sound files, all 3 of which are no longer than 5 seconds each. And one of them is called Darkwind, and you can hear it within the game itself. Urban Ambience appears to be heard during the shop segments. However, no other section that I can find in the files seems to be related to Urban whatsoever. Speculation. This file appears to be a reused asset from another project. With the prefix of Urban, one could imagine a city environment. And I would like you to listen to these ambient effects. What do you think these are originally from? If you want to be able to follow up on everything that I'm reporting on and all of the topics that I cover on this channel in real time, check out my Twitter, link down in the description below. If you want to be able to support these videos, check out my Patreon page, also down in the description below, and thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker, this is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.